Ethiopian Bishops applaud peace agreement for Tigray. In a message issued at the closing of its annual Ordinary Assembly, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Ethiopia, CBCE, says the peace process started on November 2 between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray People's Liberation Front is the wish of all Ethiopians. The Catholic Bishops of Ethiopia have welcomed the recent deal for a permanent cessation of hostilities between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, and have urged all stakeholders to continue working diligently for a viable and lasting peace in the country. The Agreement for Lasting Peace in Ethiopia. The agreement brokered by the African Union, AU, was signed on November 2 in Pretoria, South Africa, to put an end to the 2-year conflict in Tigray, which has killed thousands of civilians, displaced over 2.5 million people, and has caused a major humanitarian crisis. Under the deal, TPLF and the Addis Ababa agreed to implement transitional measures that include restoring constitutional order in Tigray, solving political differences, and a transitional justice policy framework to ensure accountability, reconciliation, truth, and healing. An aspiration of all Ethiopians. In a message issued on December 22, at the closing its annual Ordinary Assembly held in Mekaniza, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Ethiopia, CBCE, hailed the agreement, saying that the current process was the prayer and wish of all Ethiopians to end the conflict and war in Ethiopia. Humanitarian aid should be provided to all victims, remarking that the distribution of humanitarian aid is also helpful for the implementation of the agreement, and that the Church is already contributing to this effort. The message further calls on the institutions to continue their support to the population, reaching out to all the affected areas in the country, especially in the south and east suffering severe drought. The bishops also call on the faithful to resolve any dispute through peaceful means and dialogue, expressing sadness and concern over the killings, displacement and persecution of people and the destruction of properties in several parts of the country, and therefore the CBCE further notes that growing unemployment and inflation are forcing more and more young Ethiopians to immigrate, or accept badly paid jobs. The message, therefore, urges the government and relevant stakeholders to work together to ensure that the citizens' rights to work and support themselves and their families are protected. Finally, the bishops decry the rampant corruption which continues to harm Ethiopian citizens and is spreading as a result of selfish attitudes. The two countries, which had been in a no peace stance since 1999 over border issues, have normalized their relations in 2018 when Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed agreed to hand over the disputed border town of Baden to Eritrea.